Welcome and hello and hello and welcome and hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me on this extremely special edition of Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Today, I've got a busy day today, guys, but I want to peek. Everybody's asking me, how are you going to play SMCI? It's really difficult because this one, people are like, oh, they're just going to sell the news. It just went. This is really dependent on what they say, because there's an incredible amount of data we're going to get all at once. Presumably, could be a new CFO. It could be it could basically release all the data for the last 3 quarters. They could release just an update for this past quarter, but that would sort of imply, what's happening everywhere. So this is extreme volatility. The reason I wanted to update you, let's Poco Low Country. How's it going? What's up, Patrick Flanagan? I don't think anything substantial. Well, I don't know why they'd schedule a business update and make all this hype if there was nothing substantial coming out, but I guess that's possible. So the stock trading back down $3. It was like up $6 yesterday. So it's a sort of yo-yo sawtooth deal. What you'll notice is that everything happening today, all this schmutz is engulfed by what was happening yesterday. So it's kind of gap. There's not really a gap here, and if you believe in these sort of things, but the breakout in my mind still looks pretty solid. Now, this is what I wanted to draw your attention to is this a sell-off, or are they setting this thing up for a short attack? Shares on loan, 171 million. Borrowed change today, 21.5 million net borrowing today. Does that sound like, retail is panicking and selling off, or institutions are panicking and selling off? And remember, guys, I've done repeated videos where I've shown you stocks, whether it's, and I can do the same thing with Palantir, SoFi, any of these stocks that have made these extreme runs where they, 3x overnight, 5x overnight, 10x in a year, any of these things. Look for the market gods. Look for Vanguard. Look for Blackrock. Look for State Street. Look for Geode. Look for Susquehanna. Look for some of the shorts like Goldman and Jane Street to flip to long. Watch this stuff happen over and over and over again. And then look at their books and how do these companies keep making so much money? How do their trading desks keep making so much money? And I would say it's not because they guess right. It's because they control, the market. They actually control the price. Now, these are split adjusted. These aren't new positions. So Vanguard didn't just buy 62 million shares, but the point is they own 11% of the company. BlackRock owns 7% of the company. Susquehanna owns 5% of the company. And then you come down to these filings and you see Goldman Sachs, has some kind of straddle, some kind of an options play on the stock, but they also own, 1.3 million long shares. So it's nice to have Goldman in there because they're, again, one of the market gods that is really not only, like I said, guessing about where things are going and making intelligent investment decisions, but I would argue actually controlling where things are going. But that's just me and my, conspiratorial mind. Is this borrowing pattern normal? No. It's not normal because you have an extreme amount of uncertainty. So I guess the borrowing cost is so low. This gives these shorts and market makers, perhaps longs, flexibility. If you get a big pump, they'll definitely short that pump. That's what it's looking like. But how does the cost to borrow stay so low, with this extreme borrowing? You see the short interest is only 17% or, 85 million shares, but shares on loan is, double that, more than double that at 171 million, and cost to borrow remains almost zero. So you'd think there's no demand for the shares, but I don't know, guys. I just view this as just this whole price action from day one, this, Hindenburg report, Ernst & Young. I just think it's all crisis theater. I think it's all a setup. I think they want all these shares at a very low price. A lot of these AI plays, ran away from market makers where they weren't able to get retail completely out of the stocks. I mean, SoFi was a good example. I mean, retail just kept buying the lows. I think a lot of retail in that stock got very, very stubborn, sort of battle hardened, being held down so long, getting so bitter, getting so entrenched. And if you were smart, of course, selling a lot of calls on your position, you could have made an absolute ton of money and turned that frown upside down, taking those lemons and made it into a big pile of cash. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, folks. Of course, if you didn't know, you better ask somebody, because ask Lisa. She knows. You're watching Poco, Moss, the show where we give you just a little bit more. I wanted to come on and look. They're trying to bang it off below 39 again. Man, the price action on this stock is just crazy. I mean, it is really, really crazy. Now, there are stable stocks and there are trading stocks, and then there are just stocks they just toy with, like a, puppet on a string. And the interesting thing is, I think you see these splits, and I talked about this with SoFi, where there's a substantial short on a stock and they're making a lot of money, sucking retail into buying, short dated call options and stuff. And they're making money a lot of different ways. And there's, different trades going on behind the scenes. People like me don't really understand fully, but at the end of the day, you are making a directional bet on the stock. And these, waterfall drops like they're doing right now, I mean, I don't think it's from anything in particular, unless, the numbers leaked or something like that. But they did this earlier in the day, just, stock fell off a cliff down to the same area. And so I'm not really panicking here, but yeah, back down $4. When I see how they're, working the stock today, and it's 100 million in volume. I mean, this is a lot of volume. So this isn't retail selling, 10, 15,000 shares a tick. If they were dumping 15,000 shares every tick, the price would just fall through the floor, like back down to 30. They're selling the shares to themselves. This is what price fixing looks like. This is why you're able to have this extreme, 100 million share volume, and the stock just basically looks flat and stays completely inside the range it was in yesterday. And look at this after hours candle, very interesting. 43.45, high 43.49, and the low was 26.45. So just hitting weird stock. I mean, this stock is like, I thought SoFi was crazy. This is crazy. The price action is crazy. The institutional ownership it's very weird to see institutional ownership fall that far, that fast, and then, triple again almost overnight, like month to month. This tells me the market gods, the Blackrocks, the Vanguards, they're playing games and they're going to flip on the shorts. That's what the shorts, there's shorts that are, the smart ones, the Jane Streets, the Goldmans, and others. And then there's the ones that are left behind, that don't get the memo. Samir, Naga work here anymore anyway. Didn't you get that memo? He was like, I have the memo. It's not the problem. I have 8 bosses. Anyway, well, basically, what am I saying through all this, nonsense and gibberish I'm bringing to you on Poco, Moss? I don't know what's going to happen, but why the extreme borrowing today? Why are they controlling this thing? So is it for options? I mean, this doesn't really make any sense, because the volatility is going to come once these numbers come out. So I don't know. The pump yesterday, the sell-off today, they're just drawing retail in yesterday and, getting them to dump at stop losses 39, 40 today. I guess, it's very profitable. If you can manipulate, weak day traders and swing traders that are trying to trade around this news and get them to lose their money before they ever even see the cards. I mean, that's the idea if you use a poker analogy. They want to scare you so bad with bluffs and tells and intimidation and sunglasses and headphones and mullets, shuffling their checks, that you fold before you ever see the cards, and you fold a good hand. You sell a good company to them low that you just bought high for no particular reason other than fear. What, are you intimidated by the pinstripes? Who are these guys? The Yankees? These guys aren't Babe Ruth, these, weak hedge funds. They just push you around. It's like when you play poker, you don't play the cards, you play the man, you play the opponent. You find out who's weak and you just take them down. You don't care what cards they have because they're going to fold because they're weak. And you just can't play this game of picking these individual volatile stocks if you're weak, if you're going to fold like a cheap suit. That's why they call me cornbread, because I'm moist, I'm doughy, and I crumble under pressure. But I'm reformed. I'm a reformed cornbread. I have better structure. I'm not crumbling like I used to. I don't want to dump at the lows, buy the highs, sell the dips, smell the rip. This is the, I know it sounds obvious, but retail investors do this over and over and over again. And they're going to get us again. I don't know how they're going to get us, but they're going to get us. Could be a dump and pump, could be a pump and dump, could be a full-on short attack, back down to the 20s, even with good numbers. Does it depend on the numbers? Usually not. Usually they just do what they're going to do. And they push the price, and it doesn't matter what the company says. Now, this is a pretty big market cap, and there's some very big institutional investors. So the institutional investors are either going to ride it back down, accumulate more cheaper at your expense, or they're just going to burn these shorts, turn and burn, and send it up. Because they already pumped this thing to 120. And that was, a year ago, based on a year ago's numbers, a year ago's growth. If the growth and guidance are very, very strong, this could go way past that level. I mean, people were saying, oh, you're crazy. I don't want to sound crazy and say it's going to go to 150 or 200 or whatever. I don't know, guys. You look at the numbers coming out of, Meta and Google, Microsoft. I mean, one of the companies, I think it was Google, just said CapEx is going to be 120 billion on this AI nonsense. Butter and sugar sandwiches. You kids like sandwiches? Of course kids like sandwiches. They're kids. Kids love sandwiches and ice cream. Anyway, guys, we got Arnie here still in it. Let's do this. Let's make this cornbread. Stir the pot, Arnie. Stir the pot. We got the great Patrick Flanagan. How many are you going to hold for a few years? Patrick, I mean, if management gets their act together and starts doing the accounting properly and gets some good attorneys and some good accountants and a good CFO in there, and they're able to lead the pack and, maintain their relationship with NVIDIA, maintain their customers, you have to be looking for a few key things. You have to be looking for margins. You have to be looking for what accounts they maintained. What do they actually say? What do they have in the pipeline? Are they able to sell through a lot of the inventory, or is that going cold? I mean, look at what they say. Look at what they don't say. I really want to see a new CFO. I mean, they say it's a business update, but they don't say, we're going to get a bunch of numbers. They don't say what we're going to get, what we're not. They could tell us, hey, you're going to get everything on February 20, whatever. They could say, hey, fat guy on YouTube, yourself. I've heard that before. Uncalled for. Settle down. Okay, I'll go. Dude. Why, when I can't sleep, I watch those First Amendment auditors. Got to give them a trespass warning. Got to give them an opportunity to go. I have to give you their ID. It's not happening. Name and badge number. Want to speak with your supervisor. Why do you want to sit in a post office and film elderly people like getting their post office box mail? Like, I get maybe it's your right to do that. Like, it's a public place. It's a government building. But I mean, you're clearly just upsetting paranoid elderly people who are just going about their business. I don't know. I want to speak to your supervisor. I'm a huge Karen. Why are you filming me? I have my curlers in. Like, I have the First Amendment right. I'm on a public sidewalk. You're like, I know. I don't look good. It's upsetting. Why are you? I'm speaking to supervisor. I'm not a policeman. I'm an old lady getting my mail. Good day, sir. Is that what you tell the judge? Oh my God. I don't know. Clap my dog. Loves to upset people. Clap my dog's a First Amendment honor. I'm not saying like arrest them or anything, but it's just like, dude, sometimes elderly people are like paranoid about stuff and like maybe they don't understand like all the intricacies of like constitutional law. And I'm like, obviously they can't, like, you can do what you want, but I mean, I understand things like, filming like the police and different things that are like of public interest, but I don't know. Like just some old person in the post office, like getting in their face with a camera, like some guy in like a black ski mask, like 8 cameras and bear spray. Of course they're going to be terrified. Like, why would you call the police for a First Amendment protected activity? Well, I don't know. Yeah, you just look like a psycho and I'm terrified. I'm old. I don't know. It's just a subculture of U-turders that I just find fascinating. There's a lot of weird subcultures on U-turd. Every U-turder is a weirdo. Anyway, I'm just killing time until we get some numbers here, but yeah, they're going hard. They're going hard today. Let's get another check. Just let's get a chubby checker of the live short interest. I'm gonna get a chubby checker with cheese. Highly underrated film, Saving Silverman, especially if you're a big Neil Diamond fan. Yeah, I'm not gonna unpoco that long, man. I gotta go do some work actually. There is no freedom in Scotland. We're a third world state. I don't know. I would love to come see your third world state. It looks very beautiful, but I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, Europe has gotten totally out of whack. I mean, I'm not gonna like get into a whole European, but I don't know the specifics of like what's going on in Scotland. But yeah, I know like Europe's having a lot of issues. Infrastructure, immigration, population. It's like there's a lot of stuff changing really fast, and I don't think like Europe in general. I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but could just be like I don't want to make any jokes because like some of you guys are so easily offended. Like depending on where your politics lie, like I make fun of everybody. It's just kind of my thing, but especially myself, as you know. But anyway, guys, it's Unpoco Moss. What do you guys think is going to happen? Rich saying, yeah, I'll try to do a Neo update. I'm going to get off this. Deliveries are very, very low. Just had the holiday. Swaps have been very good. Swap build out. Again, you have the 2 Cherry models supposedly coming out next couple of quarters. You had BYD just, making their entire lineup intelligent driving, very low prices. Is that problematic for Firefly? I don't know, because Swap gives it such a USP that nobody else can touch. You get kind of a built-in moat there. So let's see what's going on. Just double checking. Got so much crap going on. I think crash then rip. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Clap my dog. I'm thinking, why are they borrowing 21.5 million shares when they already have an extreme amount of shares on loan, like double? So it just looks like they could sell, an infinite amount of shares short, and you expect a lot of volume tomorrow, one way or the other. I mean, they're saying options are implying a move of like 20% one way or the other. Now, 20, and a lot of that is manipulation of the starting line. I've talked about this a lot, is like, okay, if options are implying a 20% move and you start at 45 versus options implying a 20% move and you start at 38, that's a big difference, where you actually end up. Now, the magnitude of the move isn't that much different, but the starting and the ending line, that's the type of stuff a lot of people don't pay enough attention to. It's like, okay, had the big run yesterday. I feel like they're just running pumps and dumps and dumps and pumps over and over and over again. I think they take advantage of a lot of retail day traders and swing traders. They just have no idea what they're doing. And they watch stuff on YouTube and they're like, put in the stop loss here so you don't lose more than 8% or what, blah, blah, blah. Hedge funds watch those videos too, and they see which videos get how many views and who's using what system and what's popular and what stock, and payment for order flow. They're paying for that order flow, and you're, tickling their nuts with all your data. So I don't know, guys. I mean, they know what you're going to do before you even do it. That's why they run this volatility, because they just want you to do stuff. It's like, have you seen that movie with Paul Rudd, where he's trying to teach that big lurch guy to surf, of Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and he's just like, do less. He's like, no, do less. No, just do less. Finally, he just lays there like totally still. He's like, no, you're gonna have to do more than that. Like, they want you to keep panicking and doing stuff, buying, selling, buying calls for Friday. I need more calls for Friday. I'm so insecure. If I buy more short dated calls, maybe my wiener will get bigger. It won't get bigger. I've tried it. I can attest, if you lose a ton of money on ill-advised short dated calls like I have low these many years, your wiener will sadly remain the same. The song remains the same, folks, as does the wiener. And that's just life. Because most people don't pay any attention to the borrowing. They don't pay any attention to shorting. They don't pay any attention to volume. They just look at the price and they just go by that, and they think they can sort of discern what's happening by the price, which they can't. And they look at the chart, and a chart is just price. A chart is just a history of the price action. But without volume, shorting, borrowing, knowing which institutions are doing what, it really doesn't mean anything, because they can make the chart say whatever they want. It's how are they lining up their army to go into battle. It's the pre-positioning. It's the logistics. That's what borrowing, shorting, all these things are doing. They're lining it up for a run. They're lining it up for a huge dump and pump or a huge pump and dump. It's going to be one or the other. It has to go down, then up, or up, then down. I don't think it's just going to run away to the upside unless we hear greatness. Unless Uncle Chucky and Aunt Sarah come out and they just bake us a nice casserole. They make another fake charity where they're supposed to, rescue wealthy screaming trees, and they just end up getting drunk in a vineyard, making boxed wine for the people. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I got work to do. I'm starving. Market closes in 5 minutes, and then supposedly in an hour, we're going to know what's what. I don't know. Usually these numbers leak like right after the market closes, so could be just a few minutes here. But anyway, I got to run. I got stuff to do. Good luck to everyone. Thanks. Charles Wedderston, did you see how many job openings are available? No, I did not. I looked back like in November, and it was a lot. I know they have a huge factory coming online in Malaysia. It'll still be in the green. It could be volatile day. Probably pop. It just depends, Clap My Dog. It just depends on if they've got their house in order or if they're still farting around with these same douchebags. Uncle Chucky and Aunt Sarah have to get out of the way. And they have to get somebody in there with gravitas and that CFO role. They have to get some serious powerhouse lawyers in there who could crack heads and make sure they're 110% legit and righteous no matter what. Guys, it's Un Poco Moss. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm crushing your head between my fingers. Let's see what happens, guys. Good luck to everybody. Whatever happens, I have no idea, but just try to make logical, reasoned decisions. Don't panic. Don't do what they want you to do. Often do the opposite of what they want you to do. Peace. I'm out.